What's going on, guys? Carson here from TheTroubledPack. Since Gold Sark went to 3 on this most recent ban list, I thought I would throw together a Spiritual Beast deck. I picked up the stuff way in advance because I know that they're getting support and they're getting an Alti Petalfin, or not an Alti Rimpengu as a fusion card. So this is like a build. I won't be playing this as my main deck. I'll still be playing probably some form of Pendulum or Demise deck. Because I just built TG Stun and I still have a Pendulum deck from last format that I don't know what to do with. However, I'm going to play around with this for a little bit, see how it does. It has Gold Sark at 3, so it should be a little bit faster, maybe a little more consistent. Let's just get on with it. 3 Cannonhawk. This is your monster form of Gold Sark. This is what allows for you to make all your crazy combos. Ideally, this deck wants to win on your turn 3. So if you go first, you get set up. They have their turn, you pop their whole field of monsters, and then turn 3 you OTK them. So that's what it's supposed to do. He's the reason you can do that, because you can keep banishing from your deck. Next, 3 Rimpengu. This is just the next best card for the Spiritual Beasts, other than Cannonhawk, and it feeds your graveyard and your banished pile. So you need 3 of both of those. Only 2 Apelio. This is pretty standard, and then 1 Petalfin. This is really what lets you OTK. I mean, this is necessary. I honestly have thought about playing it at 3, but and like Rimpengu at 2, but it's not as good, and it really doesn't get the deck going and flowing as much. So yeah, and then Petalfin's great. It's a great tech. Honestly, this is what puts in work. I know Monarchs aren't as big, but during Monarch format, or this last format, this is actually pretty good. So that's it for the Spiritual Beast. Now for the Ritual Beast. 3 Elder. This is the best one. Other than maybe Wen, because now that Sark's at 3, Wen being played at 3 is kind of optimal, but 2 is still the number I'm playing it at. This is when you normal summon it, you can normal summon Ritual Beast in addition to your normal summon. So, 2 Wen, when it's normal summoned, it's special summons one of the banished ones from one of your banished Ritual Beasts. It's good, but you don't want to see it too much because you don't want, it can be dead turn 1. It still can be dead even though it's not as likely now that Sark's at 3, but it still can happen. Plus, you are special summoning them from the banished zone, so it kind of sucks because they can only be special summoned once each per turn. 1 Laura and Zephyr Pilica, they do the same thing. They special summon from the graveyard when they're summoned, just different names, a little bit better. Next, 3 Gold Sark. I really don't need to explain this and the synergy it brings to the table, so yeah. Brain Research Lab. Although I have to say that I was playing against Cosmo the other day, and this is pretty much for Cosmo. If they have Cosmo Town and Allure of Darkness, they have a Pot of Greed, and they're just adding, like, this has become pay 800 life points and then add a Cosmo monster from your deck to your hand. So it's kind of ridiculous. I don't know if that's gonna stay. If Cosmo Town's the problem, so in that aspect, I don't know how long this will stay at 3. This is a neat choice. I've been seeing a couple builds going around previously that ran this. So this lets you normal summon a Psychic in addition to your normal summoner set, and it takes a counter on it. When it's destroyed, you would take 1,000 per counter on it. You really don't ever get it off more than like once or twice per duel. So you're only taking 2,000, but it's something to consider. I mean, every now and then you can get up to 3 or 4, but typically you just want to see 2, and then obviously a Terraforming because I'm using those. I would play 3. This is kind of like, because E-Telly is now at 1, this is kind of like the other option you have. But it's not like, this deck's not super low on monsters, it's got 16, so I think it still will suffice. Only 1 E-Telly, sadly, but I mean, it's not like people were playing, I mean, E-Telly at 1, and this is pretty fine. I'm okay with it. It doesn't hurt the deck that much. 1 Ritual Beast Spawn just because you need it. Any more than 1 it'd be ridiculous. It's just there so you can OTK with it, opening its shit. For the 1-ofs, aside of that, Foolish Burial because it's Foolish Burial, Dimensional Fissure, and Upstart just for consistency matters. Next for the traps, 3 Steeds. This is great. Honestly, it doesn't target, but it does destroy, so it's kind of good against a lot of things. If you already have Macrocosmos or D-Fisher in the field, this is actually, I mean, this can be devastating to a lot of decks. It's not so great against Magispectors, but they did get, Kieran is at 1, so the chance, like the likelihood that you're gonna be seeing Kieran has decreased a little bit. So yeah, and you only have to get rid of 1 now, so it's fine. Steeds is still good. Only 2 Ambush. Just because I didn't have room for a third, plus this card's pretty bad to open. You want to add it, and usually if you have a stand, like, honestly, you don't really need a third. Having a third is really good for a late game, but if it really should, like, your deck should be able to, you don't really need a third. You never, if you have a third, it kind of gets cloggy, I guess. For the other traps, Solemn Warning, and Vanities, and Bottomless, Macrocosmos. I don't have strikes at this moment because I'm anticipating that they're getting reprinted and I've sold all mine. So, I mean, I think that's a smart choice, but for now I don't have strikes. You don't really, like, the only difference would be I'd probably be playing 2 to 1 in here. So this is pretty much like, this is really good in this because you return all your monsters, like, especially Macrocosmos and D-Fisher. A lot of times cards don't get sent to the graveyard, so it's really good. Plus, I mean, this deck just banishes a lot, so cards don't get sent to the graveyard nearly as much. Of course, it doesn't really make sense to say that because I can't special summon and banish when Vanity's on the field. But Macrocosmos makes it even better if they're in the field together. Then this, I'm just running this because the worst case scenario, like Twin Twister, is pretty relevant, and this stops that. And then this is probably, like, my theory behind this is the most important card in your deck is Alti Candahawk, and it's really important to get your plays off. So if they use like a strike or a warning on it, I mean, this card's really good against it. It's not going to really matter if they get that extra card because you're still going to be able to OTK them. So yeah, that's it for the main deck. It's 40 cards. I don't have a side deck together right now, but I do have this extra deck. It's pretty much just kind of standard stuff. It's not really like pretty looking. They don't have all matching sleeves because I just use all the cards I have. This is pretty much like the mixture of all the generic rank 4s I have. So Diamond Dire Wolf, Dark Rebellion, Gaga Cowboy, Abyss Dweller. Honestly, you don't really go into the rank 4s a lot because you're too busy making fusions. So these are some generic ones. Some other things that you could use is M7, which I have gone into before just to recycle some stuff. For instance, if I mean, this can be kind of interesting. You don't really ever need to go into it. Like, there's never a necessity to, and it's probably better to leave the other stuff on board. But every now and then, this can be devastating to either you or your opponent, just depending on what they're playing. I think the last time I used it, really like just stupidly effective, was when I was playing against Felgrands and I was shuffling their one that special summons back to their hand, and they just couldn't. Their hand was cloggy, so they couldn't do anything about it. And then Steelstorm Roach, which is actually probably going to see some play in this format because it's really good against Blue Eyes, and I mean, it's just a pretty good card in general. And if you can have the space for it, you can play it. Lightning Chidori, the deck does have access to Lightning Chidori, so why not play it? For the fusions, 3 Alti Apelio. This is your beater, and they can't respond to it, so it's very, very good. 1 Candahawk, sadly, and 2 Alti Petalfin. When Alti Rampengu comes out, I will make a deck update. I'm not really sure. I'm trying to anticipate what the effect would be of Alti Rampengu. I mean, they kind of have a theme that they're a little bit similar to, I mean, I don't want to say they're a little bit similar because they're not really similar, but I can't really imagine what Alti Rampengu's effect is going to be. I think it's probably going to be pretty good, so I'm kind of excited about that. So let me know what you guys thought of the deck. Leave comments, feedbacks, hit a thumbs up. It really makes me appreciate posting videos more, and I like doing it more when I see thumbs up. Subscribe, do all that fun stuff. Thanks for watching, guys, and see ya.